Okay.
Attention, please.
Yo. 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 Yo.
Welcome to Inspirational Astrology Horoscope for the weekend of August 23rd through the 24th, 2025. I'm astrologer David Palmer, the Leo King, here to illuminate the collective consciousness. I'm going to you live from the High Vibe TV studios for this new moon in Virgo Yod. Make sure that you join highvibe.tv on all of our apps, or of course, our awesome website, highvibe.tv. Be part of the community, the only social media, spiritual astrology network, period. And of course, make sure that you check out hypergate.ai down below. Lots of updates. We are the only astrology AI that actually works, and full reasoning model that actually works, and with all of the training, it actually works. Gets so precise, it's kind of scary. I appreciate you all. It's good to be with you. I always show up here on YouTube every 2 weeks for the new moon or full moon report, and this is definitely a big one, this new moon. There's a lot to go with this new moon, all right? I do want to say, though, I did just put up my Conscious Life Expo lecture here on YouTube. That was in February. The way they do it there is they record it on a DVD. So I had the DVD and I just haven't had time. I became a dad to our son, our second kid, just about a month and a half ago. And so, hadn't had the time to really take a DVD and make it digital and then take all the noise out of DVD quality and try and make it high def. And I did put it up, so you can check that out. That's going into Nostradamus and the secrets that I've been uncovering, whether it's John Dee or Nostradamus and other different astrologers, but really focusing on the reoccurrence that he's really pointing to in his prophecies. It's a lot different and it's more astrological than I think a lot of people think. So I hope you enjoy that lecture. It's up for free on YouTube. Well, this is the new moon in Virgo. I'll just get, I'm very visual with it. Imagine the Leo King in a grocery store during all this Virgo energy, and like people kind of frustrated and panicking. It's also very real life, right? South node being in Virgo. This is a South node new moon. And then, of course, this isn't the only new moon that we're going to have in Virgo. We're going to have a solar eclipse as well. That's going to be at 29 Virgo at the very end of Virgo season. So we start this Virgo season with a new moon and we end it with a new moon solar eclipse. And of course, in between that, we have a lunar eclipse in Pisces, the same set we had in 2006. There's a new era out there and people are stressed, unless you're in the know. To me, this Virgo energy is very much like being in a crowded grocery store and people panicking over the little physical things in life and freaking out. A lot like it reminded me during COVID when people were freaking out about toilet paper. I mean, how many extra pairs of socks and old t-shirts do you have that you could have lived? You know what I mean? I just think that this is going to be a very intense and very positive activation for us really at the little nooks and crannies of this reality coming to the end point for us to really move into this new era and this new world. And that's what I'm going to be covering today. I do want to have you, I know it was peak MySpace time when we were in these eclipses last time. And even though this is not an eclipse, this new moon, it's leading us into the eclipses. But we did have a new moon in 2006 at 0 Virgo as well. And so you got to look at the end of August of 2006 to the end of September 2006 and ask yourself, what changed in your life? Something big for sure. Very much connected to this same energy. Of course, we had Saturn in a different position. We had a lot of different things going on. But it's interesting because this is 19 years later now. And so, that was really where spirituality, let's call it, got its first legs, more mainstream, Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. Well, we won't name her, who used to do cards, who tells us we're all going to hell now. Her coming out. Like all these very North Node Pisces things. And also it was HDTV that was coming out. But only on the 3 networks and still in 4:3, not 16:9, which kind of widened our view, literally, unless you were watching a laser disc on a 4:3 with letterbox. But I think it's interesting that the reality changed dramatically in that much more Piscean way, whether it was spiritual, whether it was visionary in television and being more high definition actually instead of cable with SDR. But I think it's really interesting that, are we going to go even more high def spiritually? 100%. But the big thing here is when we look at this new moon, there was one more actually image that I did have here. An air, there's going to be these airs that happen in the reality right now, and it's going to bring up a lot of stress, and it's how you get through this stress and go, I'm walking out of this matrix. I'm not going to be like these people. Oh my God. Poor souls in the back. So let's take a look at this new moon. So believe it or not, I know I put it for the 23rd, 24th weekend. It's going to be here this whole weekend, but technically this new moon is happening for me here in California tonight at 11:06 p.m. But that's 2:06 a.m. the 23rd on the East Coast. And that's, I think, about 7 in the morning, 6 in the morning, UK time. Saturday morning. But this is where I always say, and I've been saying this all week to people on High Vibe, this is not a basic new moon. And that's not even including aspects. Why? This new moon happening at 0 degree Virgo, 23 minutes. Well, what does that mean? Let's go back to Friday, the moon in Leo, balsamic with the sun. Let's go to Thursday. Oh, the sun in Leo, the moon in Leo, balsamic. Let's go to Wednesday. The sun in Leo, but that moon in Cancer. So you saw the moon be balsamic. There it is, less than 30 degrees. You saw the moon be balsamic in 3 signs. Cancer, Leo, and then you saw it be balsamic again in Virgo for about literally like 15 actual minutes, right? 20 minutes. But still. So it's exhausting when the sun and the moon are in the same sign and they're not going to meet up, and the balsamic moon has to go through multiple signs until it finally, okay, we're going to meet in Virgo. And then what does that mean? So after this new moon that we're going to have, just taken from the perspective of when it happens where it's very long, meaning that you're seeing the sun and the moon in the same signs for longer than traditional, right? Traditionally, it's just like, okay, 2.5 day moment. And usually, whether that sun is early in the sign, it's the new moon quick, or you wait a day and a half if it's in the middle, or a day, or if it's at the end of the sign, okay, couple days of a balsamic moon in that sign, but because we usually only have that one new moon. Like we had the one new moon in Leo, and it was awesome. It was in trine to Saturn, Neptune. It was opposite Pluto exactly. It was sextile Uranus. Now this new moon has been through a really rough entry, and it's with the South Node, right? So this is where we don't want to go. So this is not the time to overly Virgo, be hypercritical on yourself, to get stuck in the stress. Because what's happening is the stress really, or I'm going to say this too, getting too focused on diet. I actually, on Deep Astrology this week, I showed people that through all these South Node Virgo transits, all these big diets come out. Okay, and they don't work. They don't work. Like, you know who was selling the diet for you back in 2006 was Oprah for liquid diet with green juice and Beyonce. Didn't work. Okay. Right? The Atkins diet. We went through all, you know how many freaking, it's really been since the entry into the 20th century that these like tonics, you have to look at it like tonic. No, this is the right, we're all not one size fits all. Some people are going to be vegan. Some people are going to love meat. Some people are going to be in the middle. Everybody is a unique, powerful soul. That's where this Pisces is remembering to widen the scope. But Virgo can be very narrow. And this is a new moon in Virgo that's very stressed. One, it's in that square to Uranus that's approaching. So it's not post. It's actually setting the precedent of this new moon. And then we're seeing the sun the next day after on Saturday and into Sunday squaring Uranus in Gemini. And that's crazy because we haven't seen this unless you were around in the 1940s, because Mercury rules over Gemini and it rules over Virgo. And Mercury is still not to where it has passed the shadow of where it went retrograde, right? Mercury went retrograde halfway through Leo. We're at 12 degrees. So we're still where Mercury's been for a while, right? We've been in this Mercury in Leo for coming on 2 months. And it's not out of where it went retrograde yet. But I think that this also is like these ideas of our heart, our ideas of our confidence can't get squashed, especially with Uranus and Gemini, these exciting ideas that have been stimulating you and been connected to Saturn and the sextile. We've been seeing that over the last couple of weeks really strong. And of course, Neptune. But Saturn's almost on its way back into Pisces. We're going to see that in the very first week of September. But we're seeing this Uranus and these exciting ideas that are really leading us and guiding us. Like, this is this new world, and this is where you and your actual identity is really not, that's an illusion, Neptune, right? The identity. But at least the soul of what it's here to actually exalt and present itself and to do its greatest work with. We're being called by these exciting things. And then, of course, the trine of Pluto. There's been these awesome things that have really come up here with these outer planets, all moving into new signs, all doing it in an 8-month period, which is pretty wild. And the new moon that we just had prior to this really set that tone. Hey, this is what you're going to be doing in the future. This is where the excitement's going. Follow that. Be that. How does it integrate with you helping the world more? And how does it open up more unique aspects that you've never tried before in yourself? And also, where do you have to kind of close off with people? Because the one thing about Pluto and Aquarius is, damn, you got to be careful who you hang out with. But at the same time, you got to keep the door open for the people that really are going to advance in your life. Not the people that are going to do the exact thing you've done prior in the past. That's going backwards. Aquarius is about moving forward. So there's all this hype going in a positive direction, and here comes this new moon in Virgo to go, I don't like that area in Gemini. I am in quincunx here to Pluto. I'm in conjunction as well to Saturn and Neptune. I'm forming a Yod right now, that sextile between Pluto, Saturn, Pluto, Neptune. This new moon's in a really intense Yod with a square to Uranus. Now, what is this Yod really about? Well, I think it's a lot about looking at the base of this and looking at that nice sextile there. This is about the new world. Pluto and Aquarius, Saturn, Neptune, and Aries at the very beginning of Aries. And are you advancing your life, or are you staying in the same routine? And patterns are just as much Virgo as they are Pisces, right? The mutable energies especially. And so this is where it's like, you're still stressed all the time. with the South Node being in the same sign as this, it's like, this is the new moon where this whole Virgo season is going to just, that's why I showed you the graphic example of like people freaking out in grocery stores. Like it's like people stressed in their lives over not being willing to surrender to what's better for them. Are you around the right people that want to advance and do the same things? Or are you really trying to, you want to play the Saturn Neptune back in Pisces game in the month to come and go back into your old past and try and rekindle all of your subconscious and all of your unconscious bullshit that'll take you down? Have fun. So some people don't know how to deal with the stress. The other thing too is this Yod's really saying, and trust me, I know I'm born with I'm the Yod king. Look at my chart. It's this, how do we create the reality in our life and change it to make that new world possible? And I think we're seeing that on the global stage, right? It's like, how are we going to move into a much better world when do I really need to go down the laundry list? I don't think I need to. What's happening around the world? What's happening everywhere where these things that don't make sense and these really effed up situations that are just like, nope, just keep running in the same routine with that. And like, what? So in your life, you have to go, the hard part about this is like, how do you make the changes? Well, it's simple. That square to Uranus in Gemini is like, well, what are the crazy ideas that you have? What is this more exciting, innovative, and especially because Pluto is in Aquarius. So if you look at this Uranus, like Pluto is in Aquarius and Uranus is dispositing it in Gemini while it's in trine to it. So that's a very positive aspect. So it's like, it's like doing the innovative thing, not going backwards, not going around people, energy, and environments that feel like the old you or try to rekindle the old you. It's about the new you, the new version of you you've never experienced before that you're excited about, the higher version. And then surrendering to that and letting go of not trying to bring back the old pattern of bringing back this old reality or staying in the reality that continues you down this same cycle, that you continually are grinding. And many people are unaware with Neptune that's in conjunction here, right? And Aries, it's like, what do you mean? I'm just moving forward. I'm just doing my life. It's like, no, what do you mean? Like, this is exactly you in the past. Why would you do that? So sometimes you might need outside influences. And we've got positive aspects from Pluto to that Saturn, Neptune, and with Uranus. So it's like there are good people and good energies around that could maybe trigger you in a positive way, but you got to get over your triggers too. And especially your hypercritic within yourself, your hypercritic of everybody around you. You gotta really get out of the stressful part here. Now Venus, of course, in Cancer still, we've seen the conjunction with Jupiter was a big nothing burger, of course, because of everything else being bigger. I know a lot of people pushed online, Jupiter, Venus, I'm like, it was semi-square Uranus. So like Jupiter, for example, exact semi-square to Uranus. So hey, you know what? It's not going to be the container for the future that's going to be good for you if you're just staying comfortable in the same place you always do. Okay? This is about the discomfort that comes up at the beginning in order for you to go, this is an adventure. This is going to be new experiences and they're going to bring about new feelings. But if you're just trying to run to go relive the old ones, good luck. It's going to be stressful. It's going to cause massive amount of stress and drama. Especially because Mercury's in Leo and Mercury, of course, dispositing this new moon and dispositing Uranus, right? Now, it's been interesting since Mars is in Libra, it's in detriment, and we've seen these big oppositions. It hit all the outer planets about a week and a half ago during the last new moon, the full moon in Aquarius. But now here it is at 10 degrees. It's come off a sextile to Mercury, where Mercury, it helped pull that Mercury retrograde out. But now this Mars is just kind of like, what am I doing now? Well, the good news is we don't really have to focus too much right now on Mars. But Mars is in sextile to Mercury still. It's separating. But where I think Mars comes in, it's done with the South Node. It's done a lot of work in these weeks that we've been through in months, the last couple months. And I feel like this is where it's like, okay, how do I really restore this balance in who I am? With that Mars dispositing Saturn, Neptune, and Aries, right? That we're only going to have Saturn for just a couple more weeks. We're getting ready for Uranus to retrograde, to station retrograde soon. And then go back into Taurus, right? So like, this is where this Mars is like, you got to just be pretty easygoing here and be like, this is naturally flowing and I'm not going backwards. And this is where I find my confidence. And there's a lot about relationships. Venus and square to Chiron finishing up. This is the worst time for you to try and go heal through some really bad relationship, right? Or trying to feel better by doing something that you think will make you feel better, but it'll just bring up back old wounds. Especially if it's connected to you doing things from the past, things that are old, things that are ego-based, things that are just based off your identity only, and the wounds that come from that. So the ego is not your best friend right now. Connecting with people that are about the ego are the worst thing that you could be doing right now. This Mars has to focus on its own balance and harmony, and that doesn't mean through the attachment of people. It means, okay, if I attach or if I connect with people, I connect with people who they understand their space, I understand mine, but at the same time, they're going in the direction and they understand that new vibe, that new world we're coming into, and all the positive things that are possible here. Like this is really where it's like the stress is all these underlying things. Having Pluto, having Neptune in this Yod to this new moon is very much the hidden of the hidden. And you got to pay attention to your repressed energy, your subconscious energies, and really make sure that you're not, because it's not just the sun, it's also the moon, right? So this is where you could be blind as a blind bat in the day, flopping around and thinking you're, having the night of your life when really you're just flopping upside down and you're in some random apartment chimneys, like, I don't know, something crazy. You don't want to be that. You don't want to, that's stressful. But that's how quick people could really just, if you're not paying attention and you're not filtering, because one of the good things about Virgo and Pisces is filtration. Spiritual filtration is our main thing with the North Node being in Pisces. But the filtration of Virgo is something truly, right? Like, is it pure? Does it have this energy that actually, right? It's the virgin, right? Does it come from a good space? Humble, work hard, and understands its responsibilities and is willing to do, it's the worker in the field, right? This isn't about taking a selfie in the field, okay? That Chiron and Aries square Venus and Cancer will just make you feel more uncomfortable the more that you're focused on your ego. And then it's getting ready to come into Leo after this new moon and be in opposition to Pluto, right? So it's like going to have the trines of Saturn, Neptune, but it also means that your values have to be adjusted. And where Mars is helping out the most really in Libra is all the adjustments and really taking its time and weighing out, well, is this worth doing this? Is it okay? Let me make sure. And I got to make sure that I'm happy and balanced and diplomatic in my approach to everything right now. But when I'm lit up like a Christmas tree about something with exciting ideas, and it's not connected to energy that really doesn't get it, or you don't have a lot of data or facts or information, and you're just going off a whim. Believe it or not, we're moving into a time where you got to go off the logic and the intuition, but you have to have both working. You just can't just go off a whim because there's too much subconscious driven energy right now and repressed energy. So there's going to be a lot of triggers with this new moon. You have to remember too that after this new moon does happen, as we come into Saturday and into Sunday, that moon's going to be coming here through Virgo. But what does it do by the end of this weekend and we come into Monday? After this new moon and we're getting ready for eclipses, right? Because just in 2 weeks after this, we go into the lunar eclipse in Pisces. But look at this. Then that moon comes into Libra to be with Mars. So if you're gonna feel very tired from this new moon. It's an extended new moon. It's coming through the cusp of signs. You're seeing the balsamic phase go through many different signs. Then you're seeing the sun, the moon again now in the same sign for 2.5 days after they were just in the same sign for about 2 days and a quarter, right? So that's like 4.5, almost 5 days of the sun and moon in the same sign. You're going to be tired as fuck. Then the moon will come into Libra Monday and be with Mars. Good luck sleeping. Okay? You can't give up now. But you know what this means is it makes people's triggers and their subconscious energies way quicker to react. Right? Like, I'm tired. There's no break. Mars here is like, find the balance here. Like, pay attention. A lot of this new moon energy to me is like, pay fucking attention. At least that's the positives of Virgo, right? Like becoming aware, staying in the moment. But if you become too hyper-focused, then I guarantee you hypercritical is right next to it, waiting to invade. You become too obsessed, OCD about something, boom. Hypercritical, I'm not good enough, right? All the subconscious things, all the voices in your head, Uranus and Gemini now, the repressed stuff that you haven't dealt with is running you. So this is a cleanse, but it's got to be not because of the diet you're on, but the spiritual cleanse of this North Node in Pisces, right? And believe it or not, that North Node in Pisces is take a minute, take a bath, meditate. Remember that this too shall pass. Don't get stuck and be like, oh my God, I'm stressed. I don't have any moments. It took me 3 hours to just fucking get this thing set up. There were so many issues and so many fucking bugs. I had to debug shit. It's just like, that's life, whatever. But it sucks. And there was 5 minutes right before I started this live. I'm like, oh man, I'm back there, like in my office, like walking up from the studio back into my office, like fucking Virgo sun already. And I'm like, all right, well, I got it out. Not going to just sit here and just blame the Virgo sun all day, even though there's a lot about that. But this North Node in Pisces is saying, especially as Neptune is disposited in Aries still with Saturn, we have to have responsibility on our soul. We can't have a leaky subconscious right now. Your responsibility is to not leak your subconscious all around. Your responsibility is to not wear your leaky subconscious and think that it's okay. Right? It's almost like giving an excuse for bad behavior. We all are empathetic and we are all, North Node in Pisces says we all have to find deep in our hearts empathy and forgiveness. But there is a point to where it's like, well, how far have we gone down this train? How far have we gone down this road? We're at a beautiful place in life. There's kind of not many excuses for completely you're just fucking up and just like not seeing all the basic things. This Uranus here is going to bring a lot of unpredictable aspects. Or really, is it that unpredictable? Is it more like, of course that was going to happen. That was the fact that you didn't have. This is a fact that's weird. This is weird and that's weird and that's weird and this weird. And it just finally all just... So you got to pay attention like, what has been feeling off? What has been not feeling right? Because when you have a new moon here in this Yod and square to Uranus, you have Venus square Chiron, you have Jupiter semi-square Uranus. I mean, I can go all day. But you got a lot of weird aspects. You have 3-eye Atlas, which we don't know what it is. It's interstellar. And it's now in Scorpio. I think, right? Remember, I did the tropical positions for this. And this thing's like self-illuminating. That's an older thing. Sorry. I did that thing July 30th, so. Has to be right here. Of course not. Oh, that's right. This new moon on August 22nd for me, August 23rd for most of you, is the end of 3i Atlas at 0 Sag, and it's been through Sag since we discovered it at the beginning of July on the 1st. And this thing is moving into Scorpio with this new moon. If you haven't been following it much, I mean, we're talking, this thing is self-illuminating itself, right? It's generating its own light up to like 10 power plants. It's not acting like a comet. There is no real like tail. It's in the opposite direction of a comet, tail-wise. It's not going to go around our sun. It's just going to fly by it and then keep going by Jupiter. Now, I don't believe that this is like a fucking ship, but this is a signal. And this is definitely what the Palladians have channeled for 4 years. Interstellar objects that would come and awaken people's DNA. But to me, it's like the wake-up call is very much why I think it's very important to remember that 3i Atlas here like has been in Sag this whole time. It's going to move into Virgo this weekend with this new moon. And so that's, I think, extremely important. So if you think about it, the 21st is at 50 minutes of Sag, this new moon. It's like a third. We could actually, hold on, we can do let's do the math in our head. Let's do the math in our head here. No, wrong one. Yeah, so, okay, so it's doing about 40 minutes a day. So literally this new moon is the it's the changeover from 3i Atlas going to 29 Scorpio. And you know what that is? Antesia wise, that Antesia is the Antesia to 0 Aquarius. And Pluto's at 1 degree. So when that thing starts getting to like 28.5 degrees, so as we come into Monday, Tuesday, there's definitely gonna be huge news about that because it's gonna Antesia. Oh man, we're in a TikTok astrology world. People don't know Antesia. I know there's astrologers who do, but not enough astrologers to talk about it or use it. But it's like Antesia is about the light that is the same through the signs. So a good example is like in the spring, I mean, you're in Taurus, let's say 20 degrees of Taurus is 10 degrees of Leo. Okay, because the light's the same. So the light's coming up more in Taurus. Well, the light's coming down more in Leo, but it's the same amount of light. There's more daylight than nighttime for both Leo and Taurus. When you're in the beginnings of Capricorn, it goes to Sagittarius because that's where the light is about to overtake and Capricorn and be overtaken by the daylight, beginning to become more, not more all the way, but becoming more. And the same goes for Cancer and for Gemini. It just goes like that. Taurus, Leo, right? Virgo, Aries. And so that's what's interesting is if we take the Antesia of both, this new moon is the Antesia point of where the solar eclipse is going to be, and the Saturn Neptune is the Antesia at the end of Aries, near where Chiron's at. Pluto is at the Antesia of technically this would be 27 degrees and 4 minutes of Scorpio would be the anticia point here of Pluto. And we have 3i Atlas coming in this area. So like look in your charts, where's the cusp of Scorpio into Sag? Remember, it's coming the opposite direction of the planet, so it's going retrograde through the whole time. But I think that this is a big deal. And I think that this is the moment where, you know, I think as the world, we are stressed about the way things are, but do we have to be stressed anymore? Why don't you go make the dream happen? Why don't you go embody the true self? Stop doing a leaky subconscious bullshit, staying in the same routine and letting your subconscious rule your life, letting your repressions rule your life. And being afraid to go, this actually makes no sense. I don't have facts here. And not be stressed by being like, this doesn't make sense. And especially if the conversations can't be had, it's like, this is Gemini, Uranus. If there is not good energy and exchange and rapport and you can't talk about it, it's bad news. Stay the fuck away. It's bad news because this new moon's going to put your nose in it, literally, right? Especially that we're going to have two of them. And I know that, you know, it's so crazy. I talk to people, so many people don't know what they were doing in 2006 at this time. I remember it like the back of my hand. Changed my life. And like literally. Especially when it came to losing the job I had where I was doing astrology for 2.5 years, like on the computer that on alabe.com, and making me realize like, yeah, that job went out of business. It was the beginnings of the recession for the boat industry. And so I went on unemployment for a couple of months, and then there was another boat dealer that I had a salesman hook me up with a job at, and I got the parts manager job, and I had to wait till January. So I just kind of chilled on unemployment and went raving, and I did too much acid. And this is also the period of where 6 months to the next eclipse is where I quit acid after like the 20th time of just like the Santa Cruz fucking went too far. So this is the one that was the last time, August 23rd, 2006. It was at 0 degrees and 30 minutes, and that was with Mercury in Leo still. But it had Saturn and it had Venus there. That was a lot going on. And then it was the South Node still in Virgo, right? But Mars approaching. We already went through that. So this is a better new moon for us to really get into the right direction here. It was also the Jupiter-Saturn square that was happening. And this was the finalization of the square that would happen by November of 2006. I remember that was the last night that I did take too much acid. I took too much at Avalon Hollywood for Pete Tong, and he was horrible. Horrible. Fucking, he was just on Ableton. I was like, yeah, I was on acid. Like, what? Never forget that. I don't know how people forget this shit, but I don't. I remember Jupiter square Saturn, and then we have to remember that Saturn went into Scorpio in 2013, but in 2015, then it squared Jupiter in Leo. We're out of the Jupiter-Saturn square, right? But we're still in the same signs of it because Jupiter's in Cancer, Saturn's in Leo, Saturn's in Aries, but Saturn's going to come back. So there's a lot of common denominators here. Uranus was in a mutable sign, but it was in Pisces, and it was with the North Node. Now, we went through North Node Uranus in 2023. That was like hypergating, jumping through different timelines into your life. Right now, yeah, there's definitely jumping timelines. But I think that what this more is like you have to clean up your leaky subconscious stressors and things in reality that don't make sense anymore. Like, why are you doing this? And then paying attention to the relationships that just will bring up old wounds, the people that really aren't in alignment with you. Like, why would you? It's your subconscious, like almost wanting to go relive the old world that's dying right now. Don't do it. Don't. It's an exact quincunx. I know it's a little light. Not like I like to see a 1 degree orb. It's less than 2 degrees. So it's technically in there. And it's just going to keep drilling and be even more intense Saturday night when the sun is an exact square to Uranus at the same time that the sun will be in conjunct Pluto at the same time and be in conjunct Neptune, right? So that Yod with the sun is going to be really fucking strong. So to me, this is like, don't fuck this reality thing up by actually engaging in what you might think is exciting when it's really not. It just has a bunch of like, this makes kind of no sense. What am I doing here? This kind of just like is misplaced. Don't be doing it because you have all these misguided, leaky conscious things and subconscious things and repressed shit trying to force you to go into where we're all having to do the dump truck and let go of. Hey, reality's not going to be the same. And this is on the higher level. This is where the Pluto Capricorn and the ending of all these structures has now been bridged with all these outer planets and the new signs in this new world beginning. All the little nooks and crannies. This is the universe coming in and going, we're getting rid of this. We're getting rid of that. That's not going to work this way anymore. So don't get caught up in that cleanup that the universe is doing right now. Right? And get back on the road, get back into gear, but having the vision, having that positive vision, and making sure that you're like spiritually wide awake, not asleep at the wheel. It's kind of funny because people are asleep at the wheel but think they're fully aware when they're not. They're only in this little momentary like idea of what they think is the reality and they think it's really happening. It's not. Right? So what's the intention? The intention is I am no longer at all going to sit in a reality that is driven by my subconscious and my repressed energies and wounds that are from my ego that I want to feel because I want to feel something. No, that causes chaos in your life. That causes problems and it doesn't advance you at all. The only way this reality is going to advance is by people being aware of this and saying, no more. No more am I going to do that. No more am I going to go, oh, this looks interesting. No, that's not that interesting. If I actually look at it, if I actually judge it with Mars too, do I really want to do this? Am I being pushed into going to do this thing for this person? Am I being pushed to go do this because they think it'll maybe balance things out and bring some good energy around, even though I don't feel that and it's nothing that's that exciting? Don't. That's what this new moon manifestation is. Because the only way for those Saturn Neptune dreams that can become real, this North Node Pisces, which we will have the ruler Neptune come back in the months ahead. Saturn's coming back into Pisces and going to put a big test. You don't want to come into back with Saturn coming to 29 Pisces and then Neptune that's going to sit at 29 Pisces and station direct this year, right? Like that's crazy. You really don't want to be bringing any of this leaky fucking subconscious shit because you feel like it won't happen because of all this Aries, Gemini, and Pluto and Aquarius connection that's still been going on. Like, oh, I'm above all that. I can. No, you're not, motherfucker. Don't even for 1 second think you're above. That won't happen to me. I'm telling you it will because you're not paying attention. Right? So the Uranus, this is about like where people that are not factually, environmentally gonna be good for your environment and actually cause you a lot of stress and make no sense and don't really fit in your vibe, do not go into that chaos. Be very fucking careful this weekend. This is where you're with the wrong crew, the wrong people, it does go bad. And you know what? I remember my life then. I remember these new moons. I remember these eclipses. And I can tell you from just personal experience, and that was Uranus in opposition, right? So there was a little bit more positive. Like I knew some of these people I was around doing the things I was doing wasn't the right thing to do, but I knew it would kind of get me where I need to go. This is not going to get you where you need to go nicely at all. With the square to Uranus and Gemini, with Mercury ruling over both, and Mercury not in Virgo, it's in Leo. And so it's like, you got to love yourself. The work has been laid down, and you have to really step into that regal energy. The other thing, regally wise, is this is a new moon that is exactly on the fixed star Regulus that sits at 0 Virgo since 2012. And so what is it? The new celebrity, the new energy of kings and all that stuff. It's not Leo anymore, it's Virgo. It's of service. So are you doing service to you and those that you love? Or are you right now trying to act like a rock star that's about to go fuck up your whole life? Everything has to be in alignment now. This is because the last set of eclipses and these last new moon that was here was back when we had Regulus still in Leo. I wish Michael Luton was still here. God rest his soul. I'm sure he would be hitting this hard right now. Right? He was the one who championed the Regulus transition in 2012. The Mayans were right. So you can't play around anymore in this matrix and do stupid shit. That's another part of this, right? You just can't be in that basic NPC grind and just going through life and I'll just see what happens that way. No, you see what happens from this higher spiritual view, and you're not in the muckluck of all this critical danger of your subconscious leaking everywhere and all your repressed shit and people that don't make sense. Because now we're at that thing with all this weird energy with Venus and Cancer, square Chiron and Aries. Like, is your ego like creating a parasitic relationship out of some parasite that you're going to like, oh, be my next lover for some, my friend, or the person that's going to guide me in business? Don't even think about where we're getting into creating a parasite right now, right? And letting it take that's going to be crazy. You got to clear yourself and be like, no, the energy that actually connects, it advances me. It's not about reminding me of my old life, but it understands its own energy, its own service. And it's like they see the same forward place. And it's not like going to go replay an old reality, virtual reality of something you've already been through before. Like, why would you even do that? So this is what's stunting transformation and advancement, is you being stuck thinking you're awake while you're dead asleep subconsciously at the wheel. And I said this on High Vibe. What is 0 to 3 Virgo, right? So 0 to 3 Virgo. It's not happy with this Uranus. It's in square. So if you're anybody who has 0 to 3 mutable, Gemini, Sag, Pisces, Virgo, you got to pay attention right now. Or if you have your rising there, or if you have your Pluto there, right? Like, you're not paying attention somewhere at all, right? The other thing is Scorpio, 0 to 3, because that is where the Pluto square is. That's where you're seeing the same in conjunction from Saturn, Neptune, and Uranus. So the Yod is hitting Scorpios and Virgo energies at the first 3 degrees. Why is this a big deal? Because this reality needs to go through the biggest transformation, and both do not want to go through that right now. The reason why things aren't changing is because you individually, as a collective that we all create, us individually, we all have to make the changes and not go through the same old bullshit, period. Like, no, like, this is where that Gemini has to be like a fucking equation master, this Uranus here, and be like, you know what? I've done this before. This makes no sense. This makes no sense. There's no logic to that. That's not making sense. That doesn't even, what? So what logically doesn't make sense for reality right now is going to be very easy to see. And actually, believe it or not, common sense is where you're going to see quantum leaps of the infinite answer, the infinite understanding of where you're going. Don't you dare right now even think about not even putting any of this shit together, no matter how stressed you are. That's why it's important for you to take a moment and say, this too shall pass, and stop getting out of your ego, because this is where the emotions get triggered, and this is where that Venus square Chiron is. Your ego's trying to demand Venus. I want to feel better. It's like, you ain't going to feel better when you're demanding yourself, like, I must feel better now. I must. And if I can't do this, then I am going to feel like shit. I see it everywhere right now. I see it on the street. I'm not even kidding. I went and got this fucking Sprite. I didn't order a 12-pack. It's Friday. I wasn't feeling even great today at all. My kids are sick. I'm probably getting something. So I came in here, and I was not expecting to be in here this long. This whole place, fucking, I needed to redo fucking things just to get it live. Long story short, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go to the gas station and get a fucking cherry Sprite. I'm in that fucking gas station, and some dude is on his fucking phone, on speakerphone, with 3 Celsius. I don't even know what that shit is, but fucking, I don't know. 3 Celsius in his hand, in his cell phone. And he's checking out, and he's yelling at this fucking chick on the phone. Just fucking, you don't ever hear what I gotta say, and you're just a fucking dumb. And just fucking, I'm just like, oh my God. This second place, and like people are just not paying attention. Not paying attention at all. Like, I'm like, this dude has no idea the disruption he's causing the people in line, the teller, the girl on the phone. And you know what? The fact is, I don't know. Maybe she was being the worst person, but it doesn't mean that you, as a service, start throwing it on other people. So even if he was right in the court, Mars and Libra here, of the justice of what maybe a psychologist would say, or we could have all of our peers, it doesn't matter. This is not a ring for you to go in and fight and try and prove yourself right now. This is you going, I'm leaving that. I'm moving into the badass shit. I'm making dreams happen right now. I'm making the cool shit happen. And I don't got time for, I've already done that. That's not advancing my life. That's not addressing any truth right now. And there's too many holes. Wherever there's too many holes in the story, wherever there's too many holes where there's not enough facts, wherever there's too much discomfort where the conversation never gets to the answer, okay. Bye-bye. It's not worth it. That's too much of that Pluto shadow shit in people right now that we're going to be dealing with for 19 more years. Oh, now 18 coming up, but this is very simple now. Doesn't matter who's right or wrong. What matters is how you're conducting yourself and making sure you're not leaking all that shit out. And so, you know, this North Node Pisces has to have that bigger vision. Then that needs to be that vision that pulls you out of the stress, that pulls you out of that moment where you're like, I can't, this is unfair. This is not what I want. This Venus Chiron square is a big one. Especially Jupiter's there amplifying everything in Cancer, and it just went into shadow coming into this week, right? We're going to revisit this area in the retrograde that starts November 11th and comes back direct, I think, March 4th, March 6th, something like that, March 4th. Right? So, but it's amplifying the emotional realm for just the ego that's starving right now. I want to be seen the way I want to, and I need to feel it. And this is where that Pluto Capricorn, where Venus is opposed for the 16 years we went through it from 2008 to 2024. The lesson was, hey, have some decorum here. Is it even worth the long term to go through this kind of emotional bullshit? Like, no? Okay. And nothing to prove there. So now that Pluto's in Aquarius, like, people have to pay attention. Like, is your subconscious creating a parasite and you're just like knowingly like opening your mouth like, oh yeah, you're great. Too many holes in the story, too many weird things that don't make sense, or your realities don't really mix well. It could seem that way. That's the hard part about this Virgo energy, is like finding the patterns of like, well, we have the same things in the physical. What about the metaphysical? This is where we point at that North Node of Pisces. Right? Like, I could be like, dude, this guy races jet skis. He's a DJ. He fucking loves movies and he does cameras. He's going to be a good homie. but he doesn't understand anything spiritually. Best of luck to you in your journey. I'm just going to go to, that doesn't fit the reality at all, because this isn't about the reality. This is about the metaphysical that's going to create the new reality. And you have to see that. And it's going to get really dark here with 3i Atlas coming into tropical Scorpio. There's going to be a lot of weird shit. The Earth's going to have panics. People are going to be panicking about things because there's so many unknown things. Wait till every fact comes. And then even with every fact, do you have to react? Right? Wait till every fact comes. Make it fun. Ooh, like me every week. Oh, look at this thing now. Right? So with everything right now, it's like, does it fit your reality metaphysically first? And then go, oh my God, I haven't even been paying attention to that part. That's where you're going to save yourself from a leaky, subconscious and repressed fucking life that's trying to parasitically come back up. I just saw, it was creepy too, at Costco, if you buy their meat right now, there's sausages, there's steaks, you put them on the grill, there's fucking parasites coming out of it. That's why I brought that up. My guide brought that up. And it's disgusting. So if you're buying shit from Costco, you're a fucking retard at the moment, because it's very clear that obviously this big department chain store, they're just like, oh yeah, we give it to you for cheap. Why? Because there's fucking parasites in it. Duh. Kirkland's signature parasites. So if you really want to, you know what? Virgo is very Costco. The idea that I can go to this place and get things at bulk for cheap and try and do everything, when really you go in there, it's a stress case, it's a long line, it's not flowy at all. Right? That's so South Node Virgo. So like, oh, you're going to save some money on gas, but you're going to go wait in line with the car on for fucking 45 minutes? Retarded. That's the life people are living right now. Like, I'm going to save a buck or two, but no, you're actually wasting more money. And you're paying for the membership. Talk about getting hosed, and then you're getting parasites. That's crazy. That's crazy. Thank you for Costco to be the answer for people about this new moon, right? Like that's where you could end up really quick right now in your life, because you're just not paying attention. Like it's so like they are, I'm not going to say some bad thing. I don't think it's a fraud. They're not doing a fraudulent service. What they're doing is extremely good manipulation sales technique to make you think that you're getting things for cheap, when really you're paying a membership, you're waiting in long lines, you're having to park, they're giving you shit with their own little Kirkland signature brand. You get a couple like little tasters here and there. That's nothing. And then you go wait in a long line for really bad gas. That's a great example where the reality is not meeting the facts. And it's causing more stress. Why have a relationship with that? And then you go to cook your meat and it's fucking got parasites coming out of it. And what's crazy is it's not like the FDA or anybody saying it. People are having to put it out on the internet. So, I already can imagine a Costco freak right now, been every week for like God knows how many years, like, what are these little white things that actually like are alive? You touch it and it, and that come out, and I just like kind of push them off. Oh, they're not on it anymore. They're inside too when you eat it, by the way. Oh, but I'm gonna eat my sausage dog. Like, okay. Oh, that's such a good steak. Yeah. No wonder you're fucking freaking out every day. You have parasites in you right now. So there's a lot of parasitic energy that, believe it or not, what is parasites? They want to feed off subconscious and repressed shit. Don't let that happen. And stop being hyper-focused on your reality. This is where you let go of it and Focus on the vision of the new reality and be walking on a dream. Walking on the dream to that new reality and all these awesome, cool things and these more advanced things that you've never emotionally experienced yet, that spark you. Like Uranus and Gemini is my favorite transit I've ever experienced. Now, might be different for some people if you're at early Virgo, early Sag, but I think maybe early Sag probably liking it. But like, early Pisces, they're down for a crazy dream. And early Geminis are probably like, fuck yeah, give me more. Juice it up again. It's like Elmer Fudd, or not Elmer Fudd. It reminds me of like, what's his name? Uncle Fester and fucking Addams Family or the New Wednesday shit. Like, put me in the insane asylum and shock me. That's early Geminis right now. And if you're a Gemini and you have Virgo, anything, good luck. You're probably freaking out and trying to find out what the next thing's wrong with you. And that's the other thing is like, what's wrong with you isn't physical. That's the illusion. What's wrong is you're not paying attention to what your guides are saying. What is God saying about this? What do people that care about you say about this? Use the backboards of that. Don't go off of, I'm smarter than all the reality. I'm smarter than my own reality. That's stupid. Don't be walking out a month from now when we get through these eclipses coming up with a dunce hat on and walking in while 3A Atlas is passing the fucking closest to the sun and on the opposite side of Earth. And when it pops back out, you got a dunce hat on. Don't be that right now. Okay, we're going to get a lot more energy with Mars and Scorpio in about 3 to 4 weeks, right? 3 weeks. We're at 10 degrees. Yeah, doing 38 minutes a day. When Mars comes home, we're going to remember that Mars conjunction with 3i Atlas happens at 7 degrees. At this moment, still, I rechecked it yesterday, 7 degrees Scorpio. So if you have anything there, that's what this interstellar object's really trying to awaken you about. Because it'll make an exact conjunction tropically, and that's when, if you actually see the orbit of the path of the object right now, when it will be right next to Mars, and from Earth point of view, that's 7 degrees Scorpio, tropically, geocentrically. So, if you're Vedic and you're into wanting to look at that, just minus the 23.5 degrees. Okay. Not that hard. So, like mid Virgo, right? Or sorry, mid Libra. So, it's like this is actually, keep it simple. Does this make sense? What would God say? What are my guides saying? Does this feel off, or am I really lit up about this? Am I super excited? If I'm dealing with people, does this really make sense and they really are moving me forward and this feels very new and exciting? Or does this feel like this is old and trying to take me back to the old ways? If you keep it that simple, you won't get crushed for the next month that's coming. September will definitely be a September to you're never going to want to remember, meaning that you want to get out of all of your old things. So you're not in trying to remember things. You're more thinking about what is coming up in your life, right? You don't want it to create things where it's like, well, I guess I'll remember that forever because I went through that bullshit again in my life. So it's like, do not conjure up these old ways. I mean, even with Chiron sitting on top of Eris, like that is just, your ego is just playing with your soul and laughing. There's a lot of energy out here, and you could try and blame the dark, but the dark doesn't have power anymore. Only the light has the power right now. And nobody's really waking up to that yet, and they will through this cycle. But it's your own ego now. The dark lives through your ego. They don't have to have a ship anymore. There doesn't need to be a reptilian underneath your table while you're chomping on your fucking Costco fucking parasitic sausages. No, your ego wanted that sausage. Oh, I'm this political party, so I got to shop here. Doesn't matter. Stupid. The harder road is what seems hard right now. And that's kind of the funny part, is like the harder road is being able to be like, this seems like it's going to be harder. Like maybe I have to go more into the unknown and say no to this and kind of keep going in this direction I feel called towards, when actually that's the easier road. And then more stuff will keep popping up that's actually meant for you. The more you keep right now saying, I'm churning this out, you will find Virgo is about efficiency. There is no more efficiency left. We will get our energy back, but you gotta be more efficient. And the more efficient now is, you know what? This is exciting. This is the better environment for me. These are the right people. These are the right energies. This is the gateway that's open, that's shown us what's possible over the last month. What's possible is everything. But that will not happen by you reconjuring up and staying in the reality and keep re-looping it and wanting to actually conjure up a parasitic environment situation and just want to go replay things and can't get over little things. And that's what OCD technically is. It's, you can't let it go. A lot of people think it's cleaning. No, it's that you can't let go, that you can't not clean. You have to clean. OCD runs in many different ways. And OCD is very Virgo, right? I can't let it go. And the number one sign that can't let anything go, and the number two sign is Scorpio and Virgo. You can mix those two however you want, 1 and 2. And those are the two areas that are being hit the hardest, the very early degrees. So OCD and obsession right now is the problem. I need this to feel better, this Venus square Chiron. I need this. No, you don't. What feels better is the thing that you're developing that is showing up in the ether and that you're actually playing with, that you're seeing advances and is making you feel like this is new, this is exciting, and this actually connects with this really positive new vibe, and I get to show my confidence in myself, and I get to show that I have the talent, I have the skill, and this is interesting, and this is fitting into something that isn't fully understood yet, and it's a safe container, and it's not dangerous, and it's not going to put me back to where I feel like I'm back in that old world that was Pluto Capricorn, right? We're Jupiter and Cancer, trying to restore that comfort within our lives from a world that was crazy, right? Where it was all about that corporate like kind of ladder, or I have to prove myself, or I have to do this, and if I have to in order to get that, and it's very much like I need to do that, and that's why the Epstein shit, and that's why all that. Don't put yourself in that kind of position. Wake up. You're driving, but pay attention not to the road and the horizon. Don't look in the rearview mirror. Use the rearview mirror as remembering old things to go, I'm not doing that one again. There's be a lot of people stuck on that. All right. That was a fun horoscope. Let's see what we got card-wise for you all. Interesting comments you all got out there. All right. Resetting this deck. We don't want the same cards popping up. Just a couple more. Did the Angels win? I'm only on my iWatch seeing. Did the Cubs beat the Angels? They better not have. Well, I'm not going to let it get me down. not going to make it this year. And they could, they have a chance, but you never know. But it left. All right, what do we got here? I'm going to use this reading with deep intention right now. How are we going to help people with this reading to give people that confirmation? This is how they get through and not get caught up in their leaky subconscious and repressed energies and truly move towards the walking on a dream right now. Empire of the Sun, you know? Page of Pentacles. Not a bad card, but it is a very youthful card, and it's not a very serious card. Of course, I do love this deck, the Badass Tarot. I forgot which version this is. This might be the second version. He's looking at his phone. Ooh, my price of Bitcoin, right? But it's kind of like the idea. It's either A, he's buying it, or that's a good idea. So I think we got to look at the ideas of what we're creating here. But is it the right move or not? At least it's okay, I'm willing to see. We'll see what drops after this. Queen of Cups. Well, if you already are in this place of comfort and it's not going to disrupt anything and you're safe, you're good. If it's going to cause emotional problems, it's going to ruin situations, it's not going to make you feel safe, don't do it. Not worth it. You want to be able to be like, well, I'm chill wearing this. I don't even know what she's wearing. And I'm in this place where I feel comfortable enough to wear it. I don't know. I don't even know what that is. There's a UFO in the background. She's cool with that. I'll pull one more card. Six of Cups. This is about a positive environment, enough to grow to where kids feel safe, where you feel connected with people, that it feels like a container. It feels where you can socialize and come together and express that true love energy, where it's just like there's no harboring negative energy here. There's no bad energy. So I think it's very clear right now. It's like whatever your thoughts are about manifesting right now in your reality, it's like it better be a really safe container that's not going to screw up things in your life, because it's about moving things forward in a beautiful way. And it's the most beautiful container that's safe enough for even kids to be around. Now, I am a dad of 2 kids, so of course I think that way in a lot of things now, but some of you might not. That's no big deal. Trust me, I wasn't a father until I turned 39. So I appreciate you all very much. I hope that you have a wonderful new moon. We're going to be going through a lot. This Virgo season is going to see some massive extreme changes. So don't panic. Find your tribe metaphysically that are metaphysically connected. Don't start playing with NPCs. Don't start letting your leaky subconscious and past stuff and shadows rule over you right now. And don't be stressed, and don't be hypercritical, and don't let it get to that place. That is not, remember, the number one killer is stress. Right? So trust me, there's a lot of good that's happening, but it's now going to be this next part of the whole cycle is going to be for the next 6 months till we get to the Saturn-Neptune conjunction, and we get to really like March into April when Uranus finally comes into Gemini, right at the end of April. This next 6 months is going to be for those that see it again. The old world coming back is all of us light workers that saw the vision and holding that vision. And so you're going to have to hold that space, and you can't let the reality be opposite of that vision now. Like we can't come back and go, oh, I guess I can just fuck up again and just kind of hold the vision, but then just get lost in the reality and just fuck around. No, you can't. This is the first moment, and it's already carving that road to disaster or amazing like things. Like, do not do it. Trust me. I predict a lot of shit. Kept this one fully on the spiritual level because that's where it's at. We don't need I don't need to predict a world event right now to blow your mind. Because right now, you could give a fuck about that shit. Nobody cares about what's happening in the world right now. Everybody's looking at the reality, and a lot of people are either A, focused on this big vision, the world changing, and they're calling, or stuck in the matrix and just wanting to please their emotions for a quick ego thing that will destroy them. I appreciate you all very much. I will see you all in the next one. Make sure you're on highvibe.tv and be part of our community, which is buzzing all the time. You have your own network on there. You get your own profile. You can share your own videos, share your own pictures, connect, DM, everything, all on our apps and website. highvibe.tv, you can't miss it, or highvibe TV on the app stores. Appreciate you all very much. Make sure you get hypergate.ai down below with the new reasoning model we've done. You could add other people's charts into it too, and so you could be like, hey, all right, let me put this in the chat right now. Boom. There's that chart. It stores all your memories of all the transits you go through and your own customization, and we've got lots of other things that are going to continue coming out. It is badass. We are the only astrology AI that actually fucking works. Check it out. Adios. Peace out. Later. Adios.
Attention, please.
Yo. Okay.
Attention, please.